Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Bramble Fox, but it's also a layout for GoGo Getaway because we are collaborating together for a cyber crop. So the challenge that I'm doing today is the Only White challenge, which is quite a challenge, and I'm also using the Perfect Moments set by Bramble Fox for this. So when I agreed to do this challenge, I was like, yeah, I love a white on white challenge, and then I went through my Bramble Fox stash and realised I didn't have many white perspectives to work with. So sadly I have no white stars and no snowflakes, which is a bit unfortunate, but I have gone with the Perfect Moments, and I also found a word that says sparkle, which I believe is from at least a year ago Christmas collection, maybe even 2 years ago. I think it's 1 year. I think it's only 1 year. So Christmas 2019, I think. So I thought I could use that as well and to say the Perfect Moments. So I'm starting off, I'm going to do a winter layout. This made sense to me to do a winter layout. So I'm starting off with a cut file by Peartree Cut Files, and it says brrr, and it has snowflakes on it. So I've cut that from white, of course, and I've backed it with white vellum, and now I am putting in some sequins and backing it again with white vellum in order to trap those sequins inside the letters and to make a shaker. Now this was a bit tricky because I wanted the sequins to appear in between each letter, and it was quite tricky to get them in the right places. So you can see me there keep offering up the cut file to the backing to make sure that that the letters are separate. So there we go. So I'm just going to get that stuck in place. I've just stuck it with glue, and I'm planning to stick it. I'm planning to sew it with my sewing machine as well. So I'm just going to stick that on now, and then I'm going to go away and actually sew the cut file together. Okay, so that is now stitched. I stitched it extremely carefully on my sewing machine. I went around the inside of the cut file. I went around it extremely slowly and carefully with white thread on my sewing machine. So that is my little shaker done, and I have sequins inside each one of the letters. They are mostly white sequins, some silver, some with a slightly pink tinge, but because they are all behind a white piece of vellum, they all look white. Some are star shaped as well. So they don't move around particularly freely because it's not got any height to it, it's just sewn. So it's just a little subtle extra element for this layout really, rather than a big feature shaker pocket, because as I say, I would have needed to have used acetate to see them really clearly and to have created some height with perhaps some foam pads or something. But anyway, it looks really cute. I love the way that it turned out. Okay, so now I can make my layout itself. I've got a white background, of course, and I've mounted it onto a sheet of white pattern paper. So that is from my hip kit, and it's just a white on white tone paper, and I've got that around the edge. I've gutted the middle so that I could use that for something else. So you can see I have my cut file at the top, and I have a doily that's also white, of course. I have my photos printed in black and white. I've made them quite small and kept them together in blocks of 2. It's not something I normally do, but I just liked the way this looked, and of course I've got them in black and white, of course, because of the white on white challenge. I didn't want to bring any colour in. I could have done, I think the only white challenge probably doesn't apply to photos, but I thought I would, to bring it in with the whole look of the layout, I thought I would make those black and white as well. So I have my black and white photos, they're stuck. I'm going to stick those in place. I'm just raising my cut file there on foam pads. Now I didn't want to put foam pads behind where the vellum was under the letters, so I've put foam pads everywhere else, and they are just kind of sitting there on top. I'm going to add that word sparkle to the cut file itself, and then I'm going to put the Perfect Moments perspective down the bottom. I'm now going through my stash and adding some other bits and pieces. I've got a little star chipboard shape that's white down the bottom there, but it does have some kind of black or maybe even maybe dark green spots on. So I'm going to put that there, but I'm going to cover it with white glitter and hope that that covers it mostly. Now I'm going to go for making my background amazing. I have cut loads of snowflakes. So part of the cut file, cut file, there was some snowflakes, so I've just cut them repeatedly multiple times, small and large, and that is I'm going to stick those all over the background. I'm going to have some hanging off the edge, and some on the corners, and then I'd say the fact that they're different shapes, sizes. I've got some really big ones, some smaller ones, some medium-sized ones, and some tiny ones. So I've just cut loads and loads and loads of them to cover the whole of my background. I've just realised that I have some little extra middle pieces for the bee for my cut file, so I'm just going to pop those into place. I'm using the solid piece as a template, and just putting those in there, sticking them down with wet glue. So that's all coming together quite nicely. I'm happy with how it's looking, and yeah, I'm gonna get that perfect moments stuck down the bottom there. I do need to spend some time getting all of the snowflakes stuck down onto the background. I'm going to just stick those with wet glue, so that they're only stuck in the middle, and their prongs, the I don't know, what are they? The end bits of the snowflakes. I don't know what they're called, but they're all going to be like raised up a little bit because they're not stuck flat, basically, is my point. So yeah, just getting all of those stuck down now, and then I'm going to add some pretty gems to the middle of them and add some sequins to the background as well. So I'm just going to cover that star now. I'm just going to cover it completely in wet glue. I have a fine tip applicator, so I'm just using that to apply the glue, and then I'm going to sprinkle it over with white glitter. It hasn't covered the little black specks completely, but it's covered them enough, I think, to warrant that embellishment being on this only white layout. I think it's okay. I have been round the edges of my background paper as well and cut off any snowflakes that were overhanging. Some of them I cut off as I was going, and some of them I left overhanging and then have just snipped them with my scissors afterwards. Yeah. Now just adding a couple of little tags. I've got these tiny white labels or luggage tags, but they're super tiny. So I've got a couple of those with white strings. So I've just folded the strings around the back and stuck them on, and then added them to the left hand side of my photo. I've also got these white puffy stickers. They were from I think they were from December hip kit, but I'd used most of them, but there were just a few left, so I thought I would they were perfect, so I thought I would use those here most definitely. So I've just created kind of like embellishment clusters to the left of the top photos and to the right of the bottom photos. They're just leaves and like foliage, and there's a star on there as well, so I've just added that to my photo, and then I've used up those completely now. There's none of those left whatsoever. That they were really good for this layout, of course. The key with white layouts is to find lots of different textures. So I've got card, I've got paper, I've got vellum, I've got white stitching, I've got the snowflakes, you know, is layered on top of the background. I've got white puffy stickers, I've got white labels, I've got white chipboard, I've got the Bramble Fox perspectives, I've got sequins, you know, so I've got lots of different things in white, because of course in kits or in collections generally you don't have many only white embellishments. We would normally have colour on them as well. Yeah, it's a little hard to find. You have to maybe go dig deep and see what you can find in your stash. So right now I'm just adding some white gems. So I have a whole huge pack of Pink Fresh Studio gems. They are really gorgeous, and there's one little pot in there that is full of white ones. They're white, kind of iridescent. So if you catch them in the light, they have a little pink tinge to them, but they are white. I promise. And they do look really lovely, and they just make the layout sparkle, which is what I wanted it to do, because it's a snow wintry layout, so I always think that sparkle and glitter goes really well with anything to do with snow. So yeah, I'm just adding small gems to the insides of each of my snowflake, the middles of each snowflake, sticking those down with glossy accents, And now I'm coming to add some sequins. So basically in all the gaps I wanted to add some sequins. So I've got some really large sequins and I've got some small snowflakes, and some of those are from the sets I used inside the shaker as well. So I've actually used 3 different sets by Spiegelmum Scraps called Winter's Mist, Oh Christmas Tree, and Sparkly Effervescence. I can't say that word, so I'll just spell it out like that. They're like little raindrops, so I've used a few of those as well. Okay, so just getting all of those bits and pieces stuck down. I'm using glossy accents to stick down my sequins, and I am carefully positioning them. I'm not sprinkling them on because I want them to be in specific places, basically in between all the gaps. So my background is very busy. If I was to have made this with lots of colour, it would be a crazy layout. Because it's all white, it fits really nicely. It looks really good. Yeah, just finishing off now. The sequins are all stuck in place, and I think that's me done, completed. Lovely, thank you so very much. I hope you've enjoyed this layout. I really enjoyed making it. I always love a white on white or a only white challenge. Head over to the Bramble Fox friends group for fun things there, and also over to the GoGo Getaway Facebook group for more challenges for our cybercrop. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Bramble Fox.